Hello guys, welcome to the channel, and this is the figure we will be looking at today, King Kong, and that's the NECA box he came in. Nice bit of artwork of that figure. I love the lettering, and they did have another version of this NECA figure which was I think a slightly lighter colour, and it was depicting him sort of fighting on the Empire State Building with some little airplanes coming at him. I don't think it had the woman who played that woman in that King Kong film. I know Jessica Lange was another woman that played her in the modern King Kong film of the 70s with a guy in an ape suit. But at the end of the day, let's come up to the figure. And this is what I call my Skull Island vision of him, because the accessories he comes with are that creature there, coming close. That head moves actually, and the jaw moves, which is quite good for a little figure. I believe that's a baby skull buster, and if you've watched Skull Island, they grow into massive creatures who are enemies to King Kong. But I've got him posing in the classic beating the chest pose. I'm going to pause it, I'm going to tilt his head towards the camera. So that is more towards the camera, and you can see that very quizzical face, and it's got cut marks on it. Obviously he has his fights on the Skull Island and the cut marks on the chest. I like the texture of the fur look on this figure. And we'll put in his other head sculpt to see what that looks like. So I've not posed out the actual pose, but just changed the head sculpt. And there's his head sculpt with the cuts on his face and his teeth, really baring his teeth. Quite a good effect. I think his head's a bit high on camera, so I'm going to tilt it down a bit to see if that looks better. Yeah, that's better as a pose. And you can see more of that face. I like both the sculpts of these figures, but this is the one I tend to do more poses with when he's in his aggressive nature. So yeah. Now the guy who, when I was a kid I watched the black and white version, but that was made in the 30s. I wasn't born in the 30s, but that's when it was made. And a guy called Ray Harryhausen developed a technique for making that creature come to life. He also made the creature, and it was a massive success. And I've got pretty much all the versions of King Kong in big movies, and I've got this version, but it's been remastered, so it looks really new to look at. But what he developed, Ray Harryhausen, was stop motion photography. So he would make the figure and he would basically film it, move it, film it, move it, and then when he put it together, it seemed to be moving by itself. And that's what he developed, and it inspired people like George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. I've got a few of his other films, Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, things like Jason and the Argonauts, which is my favourite one. But King Kong is where he made his mark. So I'm going to pause it and change it slightly. So I've gone for this one, changed out his hands, sort of tilting towards the sky, but I tilt the head towards the camera, see what that looks like. Yeah, that's a better one. Shows more intensity and you get to see those sort of hands. Never used these hands before actually. I've used the fighting fists and the gripping hands, but you'll see that gripping hands soon. But I do like that, just a standard, I'll call it a poster pose. Okay, then let's move that on. So I've got his gripping hands in, and it allows you to do more things like this. Coming in close, he's got a club in his hand. I suppose that might have been a branch of a tree and he just got rid of all the twigs and made it into more like a club. But that there is one of the accessories that was in there, which is why I called him my Kong, Skull Island Kong. And he's gripping that pterodactyl. Let's look at the wings. Some nice little dabbles of colour. But he's basically about to beat the hell out of him. Let's see if we can change it slightly. Kind of like this one. Square on. Not too bad. Balance is the thing with this figure when it's holding something. We'll see if we can change that slightly. And we're back with this pose, and I kind of like this. It's getting a bit more interesting. Thinking about it a bit more. I've got the fighting fist in to give him a battering. Quite like that. Might change out the pterodactyl's position in the hand on the next one, but try and keep this pose. I do like it. Not a bad one again. Slightly more upright. Opened it up a little bit. Changed the height of Kong's fist. Not bad. It's a great figure to pose. I believe there's going to be another King Kong coming out. Possibly with Godzilla, I think. I'm not sure about that one. But I did see the Japanese one, minus 2.0 or something like that, in the English subtitles, but it was awesome. Harking back to the old days, but still contemporary. So let's pause this, see what happens next. So I'll come up with this one. I mainly did it to change out my other hand in there for this one, which you've seen before. I like to swap them around. That's the gripping hand. So I'm going to change the gesture on that hand there, see what that looks like. Getting into this more and more now. Like that pose. Just trying to capture the movements of an ape, not making it too sort of human-y, keeping the sort of primitive in the figure. Let's change the hand gesture again. That's nice. That is nice. yeah. A couple of days ago I did watch the 70s version of King Kong with Jessica Lange and Jeff Bridges, and I remember queuing up in the cinema as a kid to watch it. I've had it on DVD for years and I do watch it from time to time. It was made with a good heart, but it was lacking obviously the special effects. The ape was played by a guy in a suit, and we've come a long way from that. So let's see if we can get a couple more and then wind it down. So this is one of the iconic images that you would see King Kong in the movies. I like that, and I like that sculpt. After he's just had a fight, he's victorious, he's staring down the dead carcass, and he's got those knuckles resting on a rock, and it's not bad. Let's see if I can just tilt that head differently. Yeah, it's just an experiment. Head's looking down towards the skullbuster there. That's the impression I'm trying to leave you with. But it's better from that distance. So we'll pause that. So I'll put the other head sculpt back on. It seems to come across better actually. I'll come in close. It's top of the head there. And that's the quizzical face with those really good eyes they've done there. And he's staring down towards that figure, the skullbuster. I did like the skullbusters. I love the battle they had with King Kong. Ultimately they lost, and that's a nice bit of distance to get that impression. He's looking down at that skullbuster. But I'll tilt the head up, and that will be the last shot on this bit of footage on King Kong. Now that is a nice pose. And I was going to leave it like this. I'm going to do the last one with the other head sculpt on, because that's the sculpt that's going to stay on him for the time being. This one you're looking at has been on him for a while, and I've enjoyed him. And I've posed him well on this head sculpt. Very, very good for me at this level, neck level. But I'm going to put on that other head sculpt and make it the last one. Welcome back for the final time, and this is the head sculpt I'm going to keep him with. In the aggressive mode, the pose is staying the same, and it's been a long time coming, getting this kind of film, covering some of the bases, showing you some of the hand change outs and the two head sculpts. I've posed him a little bit, so he's quite a flexible guy. You can get him into those ape-like positions, but I've enjoyed it. Okay, right, so that is King Kong, the guy I first saw on screen in the 30s. Special effects done by Ray Harryhausen and George Lucas and Steven Spielberg have been massively influenced by him. So if you can pick up any of those films that I've got in my collection, The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, Sinbad the Eye of the Tiger, and my personal favourite, Jason and the Argonauts. If you can get to watch any of those, I'm sure you're going to have a good time, because I always do, and I've watched them hundreds of times. So on that note, I say thanks for watching the channel. I'll see you again next time.